If you've ever had undigested food in your stool and wondered, is this good? Is this bad? Find out on today's video. So as a functional medicine practitioner working with people with both gut and IBS, autoimmune type symptoms, I get questions, sometimes random text messages saying, hey doc, there's this weird food in my stool, or there's this weird color in my poop. Is that normal? I think there are a lot of layers to unpack with that question. First, I want to identify that there are lots of commonly undigested foods that we eat a lot, so they're commonly common. And these are things such as beans and beets and corn, peas, quinoa, nuts and seeds. I myself currently am eating beets, and you know you're eating beets by what happens when you go to the bathroom. And as we'll get into more in a little bit, that is completely normal. And I think a couple questions you want to consider when you're thinking about undigested food in your stool is, first off, you want to know what type of poops are you having. Are you having diarrhea and finding kernels or corn or nuts and seeds in your stool? Because that's likely a problem you want to double click on and find more about. Or are the type of poops you're having just normal, said to be type 3 or 4, ripe banana is probably a good word to use for that. Because if that's the case, it's probably less of a concern. The second thing you want to ask is there a high likelihood of leaky gut or intestinal permeability going on within your body? And you're probably wondering, what is leaky gut and how do we tell if we're familiar with it? So there are a couple symptoms that you want to keep a lookout for that might, the keyword might, lead you to believe that you have intestinal permeability. Number one is systemic aches and pains. So that's, regardless of your exercise routine or even what you eat, every time you wake up or just throughout the day, you're always in pain. All joints hurt, and it's seemingly random, and there's no rhyme or reason to why they do. Number two is unpredictable food reactions. So maybe these are foods that you've eaten all the time, and for whatever reason, your body is now having a reaction, brain fog, fatigue, swelling, maybe a flare up of the joint pain itself, and you're just wondering, gosh, what the heck is happening to my body here? Another one is swelling throughout the entire body. I just had a patient this morning who one of her primary complaints was she felt pregnant every morning she woke up. And that, let me tell you, that's not normal to have that degree of swelling going on. And then number four kind of is in line with number three, and that's frequent bloating or distension in the abdomen after eating. So that's, I've seen pictures where people look like that they just swallowed a whole hot air balloon in their stomach after eating. And that could be small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, could be leaky gut. But anyways, leaky gut becomes harmful in the setting of too much undigested protein, which gets me into question number three you want to ask yourself is, what types of foods are you finding in your stool? If they're higher fiber foods such as corn, peas, or beets, I'm less worried because the outer shell, the outer shell of these foods is fiber, and fiber by its nature is undigestible. So it is completely normal to find the outer shell of some of these foods within your stool because our body can't break it down. Our gut bugs may be able to ferment off a little bit of it, but it is totally fine if you're having normal poops, yet you're finding beets, peas, or the outer shells of corn in there. Completely fine. If there's fat in your poop, A, you'd know, B, that's a problem. And this is what's called steatorrhea, and what you'll notice is your poop's going to float. So typically when you go to the bathroom, and if you look down, which sometimes you should just to get a sense of what's going on in there, it should go right to the bottom of the toilet. If it floats on top, which a lot of times actually happen, people that have a lot of diarrhea, there's a lot of mucus-like stuff on the top of the toilet, is that the poop just floats at the top. And that's a sign that there could be a lot of fat going on in the stool, or if it looks kind of mucus-like. And what I always like to have people do is this little DIY. It's called a gut transit time test. So what we're testing here is how long it takes food to pass through your digestive tract. And what I have people do is typically consume about 1 tablespoon of white raw chia or flax seeds. It's very important that they're raw and that they're white, because if they're raw, they're more likely to be undigested which long-term not great, but that's what we're going for here. And we want them to be white so we can observe them easily in the stool. And you want to have this little cocktail in water first thing in the morning by itself. And then you want to start a timer on your phone. And you want to wait until you see those seeds in your poop. Go to the timer on your phone, and then there's your gut transit time. And normal is anywhere between 12 or 24 hours. So if you wake up, you put some tablespoon of white chia seeds in water, hit go on your phone or hit start timer, check again. Next time you see it in there, you hit stop, 17 hours, completely fine. If you check next time and it was 36 hours, that's a problem. Or if you check and it's 6 hours, problem. So I think the real question isn't necessarily is undigested food bad. I think the real question is, how is your digestion overall? If you have normal, regular, comfortable bowel movements and you're happening to find undigested corn or peas or beets, again, totally fine. Now, if you're having diarrhea and you're finding like large chunks of food and nuts and seeds, that's a problem you want to double click on. Find a practitioner, find somebody to work with that can help you get to the root cause of what's going on with your digestive issues. Anyways, guys, if you did find this helpful, feel free to leave it a like or put a comment down below, and even subscribe if you want to see more content like this. All right, everybody, as always, trust in your gut.